All right, time for rapid reactions to close that out. A lot of topics, a little bit of time. Take it away, Drink.
Let's roll, baby. Seattle quarterback Russell Wilson reported to camp this week and put a damper on any trade rumors after speaking with the media yesterday. What do you think of his comments?
I thought it was pretty interesting that he came out there and was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I never asked for any trade. I just put this, hot list of four teams out there that, if I wanted to be traded. So I don't think I'm. It's kind of interesting that he's kind of like, you know, seemed like a touch of victimhood. Like, what are you talking about? I don't want to be traded. What are you putting these lists out here for? So, in the end, I'm glad that he's sticking around. I think or that he wants to stick around. I think he should, one of those players that should remain a Seahawk for life. But I just didn't appreciate, his reaction to the news that was kind of his doing. I didn't appreciate that so much. Toronto Raptors forward Pascal Siakam had shoulder surgery last Friday and will likely miss the first couple weeks of next season. Does that concern you at all?
Nope. I'm more concerned with the GM Ajiri gonna do if I'm a Toronto Raptor fan. Listen, you're not gonna be good anyway. So let Siakam go rest his hundred and whatever $1 million shoulder, and because you're just not gonna be good. You need to be more worried about if Ajiri go take another job and who gonna come in and replace him. That's what you need to be worried about if you're a Toronto fan. So, they'll be fine. I mean, they're going to be at the bottom of the league anyway. Chicago Cubs first baseman Anthony Rizzo has elected against receiving the COVID vaccine, saying he wants to see more data on it and is not against getting the vaccine down the line. With that said, how do you feel about the issue pertaining to some athletes not getting the vaccine, Jay?
I think this is a perfectly reasonable, position to have. A lot of people, and it's not just athletes. I think there's millions of people across the country that have questions about the vaccine, and they're interested in seeing more data on it. And remember, these vaccines are still being used based on emergency authorization. The FDA hasn't fully approved any of these vaccines. So I think it's perfectly reasonable. And he's not the only one. I saw the Montez Sweat from the old Washington football team. He's come out and said he's not going to get at this particular moment in time. So I think, there's nothing wrong with this. I don't think we should, excoriate guys for having this type of view. And I just hope we're open-minded and, allow people to make their own individual decisions for what vaccines they should get, and let people leave people's medical business alone. I hate that we've kind of normalized everybody's medical business based on this pandemic. I think we need to get away from that. On Thursday, Rams coach Sean McVay told the media he was very happy to have Matthew Stafford on the team, but that was not a slight against former quarterback Jared Goff. You believe him?
No. Listen, it was very evident that Sean McVay was over Jared Goff. This is why he traded him. And listen, Sean McVay don't owe Jared Goff no apology either, folks. Like, listen, he gave Jared Goff every opportunity to become a superstar in the NFL, and he just didn't do it. He just could not get them over the hump. So Sean McVay said, listen, I got to go get me a quarterback that can get the job done. So no, I do not believe him, but he is a professional. He does have a job to do. So of course he's going to say it's no slight against Jared Goff, but it is a slight against Jared Goff. Now let's see if Jared Goff can get mad enough to do something in Detroit, and then we'll revisit this. But it was absolutely a slight, and I think Sean McVay owe him no apologies for doing it. The NBA has announced 5 finalists for the inaugural Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Social Justice Champion Award. They are Carmelo Anthony, Harrison Barnes, Drew Holiday, Tobias Harris, and Juan Tessino Anderson. Jay, are you offended that there's no white NBA players that was chose to be a finalist?
Drink, I'd be offended if there was a white player as a finalist for this award, because they got the white privilege and they got the oppressors, and all this other stuff. Most of them European, so they could not possibly, understand what's going on in this country anyway. Drink, I gotta, I keep a stopwatch on here for when I talk, to make sure we get equal time and just to make sure I'm not oppressing you. So yeah, I'd be, I'm not offended at all by this. I love it. Keep it going. It's fine. Chiefs guard Kyle Long injured his knee in Wednesday's practice, and although it's possible he may need surgery, the Chiefs are still hopeful Long can still be ready for the start of the regular season. Any that knee injury bothering you at all?
Yeah, a little bit. If the Chiefs, if he's supposed to be starting this year, and listen, the Chiefs, if it's one thing that I'm starting to notice, one weakness that they had ongoing, it's that offensive line, man. People just can't stay healthy. And the last thing I think the Chiefs want to do is to start the campaign off next year with a offensive line already dealing with injuries. They went out, they spent a lot of money to try to bolster up that offensive line. So it is a little concerning that you do all this work and you still might not be healthy when it's all said and done. So it is concerning to say the least. We'll see how that works out, but it's a little concerning if you're a Chiefs fan. National League East ace Matt Scherzer and Jacob deGrom both left last night game started early with injuries. Which one are you more concerned about?
I'm more concerned about Jacob deGrom of the New York Mets, and it's just for historical purposes. This guy is putting together a season for the ages. Some numbers that we've never seen in our lifetime. The guy's 6-2 with a microscopic 0.56 earned run average. I think he's actually driven in more runs with his bat than he's given up as a pitcher. And the guy's he's hitting 400, 10 for 25, driven in 5 runs. Incredible stuff. And I hope he doesn't miss any time based on this elbow issue that caused him to leave last night's start early. Recently, Dak Prescott left Adidas to sign a 5-year deal with the Jordan brand. According to Adam Schefter, he is now Jordan's highest paid NFL player and the only quarterback to sign with Jordan. Big deal or no deal?
Listen, it's a big deal. Listen, it's good to be a Dallas Cowboy. It's definitely good to be a Dallas Cowboy quarterback, right? I think this is a good precedent because I want to say either last year or the year before we was talking about the deal that Odell Beckham had with Nike, and at the time that was the biggest deal for an NFL player. Now it seems that Dak has surpassed that with the Jordan brand. And the fact that he's the only quarterback on Jordan brand. So it's always good to be the first to do some stuff when it's positive, not negative. When it's positive, when you're the first person to do it, it always feels good. I do think Jordan brand would sign more NFL players and then more NFL quarterbacks, but it's always good. So it's just a good time to be Dak Prescott right now. You got the contract you wanted from your team. Now you got a nice little contract from the Jordan brand for 5 years. So, you're doing your Campbell's commercials. So it's a good time to be Dak Prescott right now. After 15 seasons with 2 Pro Bowl selections, cornerback Jonathan Joseph announced his retirement. What are your thoughts on his career, Jay?
Man, anytime you can play 15 years at that position, I think it's something to be commended. 2-time Pro Bowler. I don't think I ever looked at him as one of the top cornerbacks in the league, but but despite that, the fact that he was able to stick around that long and have that long career and play to that advanced age, I think it's one of those things that we just look at him and look at his career and have nothing but respect for what he was able to accomplish. The last one tonight, it's UFC 263 Adesanya versus Vettori. Second round of that on ESPN pay-per-view and at the Gila River Arena in Glendale, Arizona. Main event, it's a middleweight title fight between the champ, Israel Adesanya, and the number 3 ranked contender, Martin Vettori. Who you got, Drink?
Hey, man, I got to go with the style bender, Israel Adesanya. I know a lot of people are a little down on his stock right now. He moved up to 205 to challenge for the light heavyweight title. He came up short. And it's a lot of news and talk that young I can't say his name, but the champion at 205 showed a recipe on what you can do on the Adesanya, but I'm not fully sure if that'll work at 185 like it worked at 205. Marvin Vettori, he's on a streak. He is. He's been looking okay. My problem with this matchup and Adesanya, he did mention this in the press conference. When you compare the resume of the two, Adesanya's resume is blowing Victoria over into another country. He Italian. He want to be the first Italian champion. Well, your resume is over there in Italy because it's not. holding a candle to what Adesanya has done in his last 5 or 6 fights. So, with that said, I'm going to take Adesanya. The last time a fighter the size of Victoria went and talked all this smoke to Adesanya, it was Paulo Costa. At the time, Paulo Costa was the #1 fighter in the division, and Adesanya went and got him out of here. Got him out of here in the second round, I think. I can see that same thing happen to Victoria, so I'm going with Adesanya, and I do think he's going to knock him out between the second and third round.
All right. Well, that concludes today's Drink of Wisdom. Thank you for joining us today. And as always, like, listen, share, subscribe. We appreciate it all. I'm Jay Watts.
And I'm Nathan Drinker. And remember, make tomorrow better than today and make today better than yesterday. And you know what we going to do. We going to holler at you until next time, baby.